As this room fill up, be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to hit the like button, share this content, let friends or neighbors know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's including the ice wall, baby. Yep. As they say, one thing we all adore, something worth dying for. There's nothing but pain. We stuck in this game. We're searching for fortune and fame. Come on with it. Yep. They say ain't no party like the Cowboy party. But what about a Troy Aikman's groove? Come on with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yep. You know, life come at you really fast, and it's all about how you can make the necessary adjustments. The Cowboys are 3-3, heading into the bye week. We got a lot of things that's against us, but one thing that I can tell you for sure, that if the Cowboys don't get out of their way, they will be continue to do the same thing over and over again. We're going to talk about what Troy Aikman had to say. I think they run terrible routes. CD got to improve in his route running. We're going to try to talk about the few things that also that's been brought up. Let me see if I can find it right here. Bear with me, baby. Here it is right here. The Cowboys. We are the 32nd ranked in rushing offense. We are the 32nd ranked in receiving separations. Bottom 10th in pass blocking, offensive line, atrocious head coach play calling. Bottom 3 defense. And yet I'm seeing Dak has to overcome bad play around him. All right. And then, of course, 31st in turnovers, 28th in points allowed per game or what have you, and 30th in red zone offense, touchdown to interception ratio. All I can say is, give me Riggs. It's Riggs. It's Riggery. Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, Riggs, you still out there. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, man and frogs. How do we improve this? How do we get beyond this? Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, Katrina haven't been here for a minute. She says, where my wrench, Law? Because somebody explain to Katrina what happened to all of the wrenches out here. Riggs!
Jesus, this is your humble servant, Lord. There's clearly been a miscommunication, Jesus. Just saying this burden is a little bit too heavy for you, sir.
But neither here nor there, Cowboy Nation, we got to make some type of moves. We must figure out ways to get above this, and we must figure out things that the Cowboys Nation must do. Cowboys situation as it relates to what they need to do is go back and do a self-inventory. I think in life sometimes you all have to do self-inventory. You all have to look back and look into the mirror and say, okay, what's one thing that we do best at? Sometimes we'll say, I'm the best run stopper team, or I'm the best run team, or I'm the best play action team, or I'm the best and it relates to turnover team, or I'm the best as it relates to play calling and play design. You got to figure out what you do best at. You got to figure out what can you look at and say to yourself, these are the things that I'm number one at, and these are the things that I look at and say that I'm going to work on that one thing. So when you look down the fray and you're seeing that you're ranked dead last and bottom on most of these things, right? You have to say to yourself, how can I improve this 1 inch by inch? How can I make this better? Where do I need to work on? And you only got a small time and a small opportunity to work on those small things. And where can that be? And what can that be? How can that be? The Cowboys are in a very mess right now. Larry says, but Dak still takes all of the heat. Yeah, at this point. But at this point, he's going to have to declare and decree and say to everyone and say, hey, I need to figure this out. I need to get things going. Because this, what do they call it? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So at some point, he's going to have to do that. And we are in a very, 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 very terrible situation. Before I get to the lead, I normally don't play the Stephen A. Smith clips. But I got to play this only for context. Because it is what it is. It spits nothing but the truth. It spits exactly what's going on with this organization and franchise. And let's get this thing going right quick before we get into more details. Come on with it. Can't debate the truth.
There is no question that it's worse in Dallas. It's so bad in Dallas. It's hard for me to laugh. And you know how much I love laughing about those Cowboys. It's bad. There are Jerry Jones. There is no way around it. That's my Libra buddy. You know that. Horrible job. Did nothing this offseason. And when I interviewed them for an hour and 15 minutes on my YouTube show, my podcast, I didn't challenge him but so much in terms of what the team was going to do this year, because he kept saying, yeah, when I brought up Derrick Henry, when I brought up prioritizing CeeDee Lamb and you're going to give Dak Prescott $60 million and all of this stuff, he was like, there are people you haven't seen. There are people that we should have played last year. They're going to be out there this year. Wait. You'll see.
I'm going to stop it there. That's all I wanted to say. Not only do we hold back plays, we hold back players. Now, Jerry could have been off of his meds. But the problem is with all of this is that the Cowboys themselves are in a situation that we waited too late and we waited too long to make any impactful changes. Sometimes when you count on luck, luck don't count on you. Like most hate it says, still wishing on a falling star. We can wish all you want, right? But the realities of it is that we are operating too much out of comfort. Any other team will be operating out of the fear and we can't operate that way. Let's go listen to one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, Troy Aikman.
He had to watch that game on his birthday, the biggest home loss in his tenure as the Cowboys owner, and then he publicly threatens to fire the hosts of his radio show. And normally Jerry's got a very thick skin. Does it surprise you how he's handled the criticism this week?
Yes and no. Yes, from the standpoint that I think he's always been really good. I do know that Jerry can get pretty upset. You know, he does have a temper. But he does a good job, I think, over the years of really restraining it, especially when he's dealing with the public or out in public. But to me, the reaction by him is more an indication of what he's feeling and what's going on inside of him and how frustrated that he is, and maybe by the reaction of, I don't know exactly what the question was. I think it had something to do with the Offseason and obviously that was a big point of contention coming into the season and even during the off season, that the lack of moves. The part that was surprising to me, and I've said this before, that when Jerry said, "Hey, we're all in," and wanted people to prove their worth, I guess the only one who has done that or is doing that currently now is Mike McCarthy. But if ultimately you're going to sign, I think everyone knew they were going to sign CeeDee Lamb. I don't agree with just let's sign him before camp and have him miss all of training camp. I'm an old school guy, and I just believe that practice matters. I believe that having the team together matters. So if I knew I was going to sign him anyway, I would have him signed so that he's working out with my quarterback and doing the things that he should be doing.
Facts. We can see that Dak and Lamb definitely not on the same page. And when you have an archaic style of an approach of offense, these guys can't be like this. They got to be like this. Now, naturally, we can say, well, they getting the money. $60 million APY for Dak Prescott. $34 million for Lamb, however money it is. It's a lot of money. And just because you pay a person doesn't mean that all of a sudden the knowledge and the skill set get better. You know, ain't this right, Bruce? Ain't this right, you goddess, poet, ice cold cowboy? Just because I give you $1 million doesn't mean that all of a sudden you get smarter, right? You just got $1 million for where you at. You still got to put the work in. There's no shortcuts to success, ladies and gentlemen. While we are playing the money game and the contract game, other teams are playing the talent game. The approach of taking X, Y, and Z away so that we can get better this way game. All offseason was brought to you by this person don't deserve this person do deserve that, and there's no in sync with the players. It's a lot of wasted reps. Those reps, let me tell you how wasted they are. Those reps that went to Jalen Tolbert versus whoever all DBs were diminishing rates of return. For one, Jalen Tolbert is not a number 1 wide receiver. For two, he's not a number 2 wide receiver. For three, he's probably a number 3 or number 4 wide out. Shout out to him. But he was treated as if though he was a number 1. And as he was dogging out the DBs, because remember, you got to understand that Trayvon Diggs wasn't even out there in training camp because he was still going through his recovery. So you get a false sense. You get a false sense of levels of competition. You got a number 3 guy who's presented to be number 1 going against a new install of defense, a Kalen Carson's, a whoever else we had, a Nashawn Wright at the time, who's not even starting in the National Football League. But we are evaluating what's going on with the defense in the confines of that, and everything is watered down. And on the top of that, with the run game situation, we evaluated Royce Freeman. We evaluated Pete, I believe his name, Deuce Vaughn. We didn't get a lot of reps from Ezekiel Elliott. Rico, I think he got hit up during training camp too. So you see what I'm saying? It's a trickle-down effect. So we never got a true sense of what this team really is. And the big plays and splashes that they were making on offense during training camp is water under the bridge. Yeah, Kay says Tolbert is nice. To a degree to who? Is he nice against number ones? Is he nice against number twos? Or is he naturally nice against number threes?
But then Dak, on the other hand, I thought that was going to maybe play out through the season. But to sign him right on the eve of the opener, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense as far as what that might have been able to do then to free up some cap space and make some moves. But and I think all of that's coming back, and it's coming back on Jerry because he expected to have a really good year, and we're far from over. I'm not suggesting that it's over, but I think maybe there was an overestimate of some of these younger players of what they might be able to do, because that's what the public was told, was that there were some young players that they had drafted, that they had invested in, that they needed to develop, and they felt good about them, and they were going to be the ones who step in and, I guess answer a lot of those questions, and it just simply has not happened. The concerns coming into the season are the same concerns we're having right now after 6 games.
No doubt, no doubt. I get it. People will always have their fan favorite. People will always say, yeah, this guy's doing well. This guy's doing great. And we can say that. But what are the results? 32nd in rushing offense. 32nd in receiving separation. It's good and it's okay to be a fan of something. But at some point, you got to make sure that you pull the resources together. That's just what it is. Garrett Wilson. I'm using the Jets as an example. Garrett Wilson is a damn good wide receiver. Mike Williams, damn good wide receiver. But it wasn't enough for them. They picked up the phone and got a Devontae Adams. Why? Because they're trying to get better in that category. They want to win. Now, does this mean that they're going to win? It don't mean that they're going to win. See, the Cowboys, we can't fall in love with this right here. 32nd rank in rushing offense. 32nd rank in receiving separation. But let's listen to more of the mighty Troy Aikman. And it goes both ways, too. The play caller got to get better. I'm not taking that off the table.
So when you go back and look at that, and let's talk about that connection that's not really there right now between Dak and Lamb. There were 2 critical plays. Both could have resulted in touchdowns. One, Lamb had one-on-one coverage and it looked like he got the jump ball that he wanted the week before, and he didn't get to it, and it went incomplete. And then the other one was intercepted in a really good play by Brian Branch. But, again, those are 2 passes that, at least in the second half of last year, it seemed like those 2 always connected. Was that just another indication of, well, that's what you get if you don't have them working together in July and August?
I think that's part of it. I think the routes are terrible. I think they run terrible routes, and I've thought that beyond this year. And I think CeeDee's got to improve in his route running. And as a quarterback, if you're not certain where guys are going to be consistently, it's hard to play the position. And so that's what I see. I see guys lazy coming off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they run. Usually if they do, it's because they're anticipating they're going to get the football in that play. But if they're not, they don't. And it all ties together. And so I'm not impressed with that part of it. I just finished watching the Baltimore Ravens because I have them this week. You put on a film of theirs and watch their receivers run routes, and they come off the football. And
the problem is Baltimore Ravens coaching staff. They got foreseeable contracts. Who's really going to check CD on his route? Who's really going to check Jalen Tolbert on his route? Who's really going to check Jalen Brooks on his routes? Them coaches literally say, okay, I called the play. I'm not going to get too much heated on. It's a trickle-down effect. It's literally that. Because we are not one. We're not one. Troy's telling the truth. He is. Let's rewind and listen to this again.
Where guys are going to be consistently, it's hard to play the position, and so that's what I see. I see guys lazy coming off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they run. Usually, if they do, it's because they're anticipating they're going to get the football in that play. But if they're not, they don't, and it all ties together. And so, I'm not impressed with that part of it. I just finished watching the Baltimore Ravens because I have them this week. You put on a film of theirs and watch their receivers run routes, and they come off the football, and so do San Francisco's and Green Bay's and others. But it's hard to play the position if you're not certain how guys are going to run routes or where they're going to be. And I'm not speaking for Dak. Dak may say, hey, I think everything's amazing, but as a former quarterback watching it, it's got to get a lot better.
That's interesting, and I wonder if that ties into the way they've been practicing, because Dak and some other players have said this year after these losses, well, we didn't have a good week of practice, or we're not paying attention to detail in practice. That's a real red flag, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Mm-hmm. If the quarterback is saying we're not practicing hard enough, we need to be more accountable, or whatever the terminology is that he's using. And I know that a couple weeks ago he said something similar.
Ooh, baby, baby. Lord, Glenn Capers, Troy cannot be debated on this. Bad routes equals bad QB. Glenn Capers with the truth. And keep in mind, whenever you give the donation to help elevate the nation, your name is entered in for the drawing for this helmet. It's a two-way street. Who's old enough to remember after we got demolished by the Saints that Mike McCarthy or one of the coaching staff said they had a terrible week in practice? And I went scorched earth almost, and said, how is that even possible? How is that even possible after you done got drugged at your crib? When the writing is on the wall, it's on the wall. When things are chaotic the way it is, and they know they got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you see the trickle-down effect. I'm not giving up on this team. It's hard to give up on this team. I'm a fighter. In life and everything that I ever did in life, I fought for it. I'm continuing to fight for it. But this team makes it so hard because we don't have that fighter's mentality. The players see it. The ownership is very terrible here, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag. One, because it's an indictment on how things are being done. But usually, as we know, Dak is the last person who's going to say something like that publicly. So if he says something, as is the case for most quarterbacks, if they're saying something publicly like that, then it's a problem, and it's obviously causing some real frustration on his part. And so that stuff, we talked about it before, that stuff's got to get cleaned up. I don't care if it's sports, business, whatever it is. I mean, there are certain things, in my opinion, that are relatively easy to clean up, and effort and paying attention to detail and knowing assignments and practicing at a certain level is amongst the easiest things that I would be able to fix.
It's difficult. You got a clean house. Top man says you got a clean house. As the young one says, clean up, everybody, everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share. Come on, baby. There's no capabilities of any team in the National Football League to clean up when you're 3-3. You can't. Nobody fires coaches when they're 500. If we won only one game, yeah, maybe. But when you're 3-3, it's not going to happen, y'all. I hate when someone is right? When I think Clarence Hill says that we are entering in the Dave Campo era. I didn't want to accept that. Jay Recruiter says the Cowboys are road warriors and will beat the Niners team that is not very good, and fans will be screaming Super Bowl. Dreamers, appreciate you for the $1.99. I would never choose that the Cowboys will lose to a team, especially like the Niners. The record 3-3 for the Niners feels a whole lot different than the 3-3 for the boys. Third overall, defense fifth, offensively speaking, second for them. I want us to win every game. I do. 13-3. Come on, baby. Dak needs to become like a Psycho Tom and get in these guys, I ain't gonna say that, no diddy. As you always say, they have to win in spite of the coaches in front office. Jay Versick with the truth right here. Yeah. Dak can't play defense, though. And when you have your best offensive lineman, Zach Martin, being a turnstile, you make it so hard. You do. And it's crazy, So that's where we at right now. We are in that shadowy place. We're in that era, whereas we got to have someone else to stand tall. I want you guys to understand this, man, and I'm not trying to gaslight anything. Somebody said Dak can't play offense either. What you guys are asking Dak to do is by far insane. You are asking him to do something that Roger Staubach, one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever graced this game, can't do or couldn't have done. You're asking him for even the guy voice that we just heard, Troy Aikman, to do that he never could do. Have y'all ever heard of doomsday defense? I know some of y'all too young to know. Have you ever heard of doomsday defense? The hate is real. Yeah, I get it. Don't y'all know who Tony Dorsett is? Don't y'all know who Tony Dorsett is? Don't you guys even consider who's Tom Landry? Don't y'all know that? Didn't you know? Didn't you know? And the right, let's say, I do. When have we ever had a team assembled this way? Lopez says he do. We don't have TD on this team. And we for dog sure don't have doomsday defense. For Troy, we don't have this offensive line. We don't have an Emmitt Smith here, one of the greatest running backs to ever grace this land. We don't have number one, number two defense, respectfully speaking. We don't have it. Sean says, oh, we got a super chat before I read Sean. Let the AI speak for Walt Dog.
Walt Dog 25 $10. The Cowboys have been looking for ways to implode for years. It's finally looking like it's coming to a head now. It's time for a new start from ownership on down. Right now we not damn boys.
Shoot, you ain't lying. I just want to say this though. When we saying that the quarterback got to play better, and I get it. I get labeled as a Dak apologist. Even in my last video, I get scrap metal of criticisms, scrap heat of criticism of even criticizing Dak. For people to say, hey, you don't know the play that was called. You gonna understand. The offensive line, Dak didn't have time to throw the ball. We are a terrible team, regardless of how you slice it. We are a terrible team. We have to look in the mirror. Regardless, you can name any quarterback in the National Football League. They will be terrible in this situation. Any of them. When your offensive line is not blocking. When you have the 32nd ranked rushing offense. Don't y'all understand that? The 37 quarterbacks can't help rushing offense. Unless you're going to run the ball like Lamar. And we don't have a Lamar around the street. Oh, let's bring Trigger Trey in. We saw Trigger Trey in preseason. Let me know, did we see Trigger Trey in preseason? We have no scheme. No plan to attack. We get out of the beds in our home. We drive to the stadium, and the first scripted 17 plays, I know them. Sean D know them, right? Cowboys Shank know them. Come on. The only positive about this stat line, shout out to my guy Outlaw Cowboy. The only positivity about this stat line is the fact that we are 32nd ranked in rushing. And you can't get worse than that. So, hey, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, if you sleep on the floor, there's no possibility of falling out of the bed. So we at the bottom, baby. 32nd in separation. Oh my gosh. Spiral Mind says, the Jones don't know how to navigate the salary cap. They build the Cowboys for track meets, not football. Wow. You're 1,000,000% right on that. While we got all of you good people here, I just want to cut away just for a quick second. I want to cut away a quick second for one of our sponsors. Let's listen to him.
There are times in life you wish you had a do-over. If you're in a wreck, make the smart choice right away. Frenkel and Frenkel, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frenkel first.
Call Frenkel first, Jerry, just in case you need something. And we do need something. We need help on our offensive line and the D-line. Maybe, just maybe, a personal injury lawyer like Frenkel and Frenkel can help out with that, because they will take great care of you, not advantage of you like these insurance companies, and they are locally here for us, and especially here in Dallas. So keep this in mind. In Dallas, there's about 300 people moving into the city of Dallas a day. That's over 9,000 a month almost. Man, that's crazy. And we get a lot of folks in here. Lou's Takes for the $20 super chat states this right here. Law, this is a reflection on all of the higher ups. There's a lack of toughness in leadership. If flowing on down, if receivers are being lazy, it's on the pros, coaches, the professional coaches, and so forth. Hope to get to work out with you soon. Shout out to you and appreciate your support for the nation. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Here's how all of this works. Yeah, and appreciate it, man. Yeah, we'll figure out ways that we can get some time to work together, bro. Yes, indeed. We definitely need to have the Cowboys to work together too on a few things. Eagles fan says should have paid Schultz, got Henry, and trade back for Cooper or Adams. Zeke has no business in the NFL roster. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Michael Thomas is still out there, and so is Hunter Renfrow. Give me Hunter. Mike Thomas is another Mike that we don't want. I don't know if he can get separation, by the way. I know Hunter may can. $60 million, baby, with 2 or more intersections on big games. No diddy. I don't know, Ronald. I can tell you this. The money is only the distraction. Brock Purdy is going to get 62, maybe 64. I don't know. Let him continue to win. That's just the price of doing business. The problem with the Cowboys been, and it always been, that they move too slowly. Just like what Troy Aikman said, if you knew you was going to pay CeeDee Lamb anyway, pay him early, get him in training camp. What we are trying to do is something unforeseeable that nobody is eligible to do. Shango brought up a good point this morning. Dak has 8 touchdowns, 6 picks. Mahomes has 6 touchdowns, 6 picks. One team is undefeated, the other one is 3-3. There's so many layers to this. Oh my God, there's so many layers to this. Are they installing new defenses out there? Nope. No, they're not installing new defense. They are not. They are not installing new defense. Matter of fact, they got the 7th ranked defense. They got a top 10 defense. They got the 6th ranked offense. And the difference maker between the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, people are going to say that Pat Mahomes is generationally talented. Shout out to you, Keith Jones. We don't even know what the general manager looked like for Kansas. Yeah. We don't even know what it looked like. We don't even know who the owner is over there without using Google. Yeah. And Bear 24 comparison people. Yeah. It's like comparison is the thief of all joy. That's the team coming off of a Super Bowl. And Andy Reid been in that system forever. You know what really turned Andy Reid around? Because him and Mike McCarthy were like Siamese twins. Hear me out, put that butter knife down. Eric Bieniemy helped Andy Reid out tremendously. He brought balance to the game. And although Eric Bieniemy is not in the NFL now, but if you look back at Andy Reid's track record before Eric Bieniemy, he was a guy that was pass happy. Throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. Not really creative to a degree with the run game situation. I'm not saying that the Cowboys gonna change it around just like this with their running and approach, but damn it, we for sure need an Eric Bieniemy. We need somebody other than Jeff Blasco coming up with some run game theories. And Mike Solari. Jacoby Taylor says, we have to stop great value shopping. We can't change the world until we change it itself. What you say, Amp?
Just want to say thank you. Praying gesture.
Appreciate you, Amp. Thank you for your support. Cowboy Shank said a mouthful right here. Jerry Jones only hires yes men. And he's right. He's hiring yes men just like he went on that radio station and said what he said. I truly believe in the hearts of hearts what he said on that radio station to those boys is deep down in the pits of his heart on how he want things.
Yeah, I don't know that I would go as far as the volume connotation as yelling. Okay? But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those had been real fans sitting there, okay, or if there'd been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, might have had a different answer. Yeah.
That's the reality of it. There's no ifs, ands, and buts around it. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when you're doing wrong, you can get away with it at 8 o'clock. You can get away with it at 12 o'clock. But when 7 o'clock that evening hit, they realize, oh yeah, you were wrong on that one. It's time to pay the piper. And you know, that's just how it is. And you have to be willing to take it all on the chin when it happens. Your success could be your own pitfall. Law, what do you mean? I can fire 500 other coaches, or I could fire you and bring in 500 different other coaches to win the Super Bowl. And he brought in Barry Switzer. He didn't win the first year, but that second year holds truth. And then the truth came in and said it wasn't Barry that won that Super Bowl. That was still Jimmy's philosophy, principle. So unfortunately, man, that's just how it goes. J Form says, shaking my head, his own network had over 6 podcasts. He does 0 of them. You're right, J Form. Damn, you're right. Shoot, Jerry got 6 podcasts and then he don't jump on none of them. Yeah. Well, the reality of it, Bruce Burner says next year we going to the Super Bowl. Shit. Can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. Can't make this stuff up. I appreciate the support. We're not over with yet. It's 3-3. Not saying that Jalen Dalton, the guy we picked up off the somebody else practice squad team, or San Antonio, not the Spurs, but the Brahmas, however you call that team. Not saying that he's going to be a difference maker. My only hope is that we figure out ways to claw and stretch and win games. I'm going to still have hope. That's the last thing I got over here. Hope. Hold on, pain ending. That's what hope is. Hold on, pain is ending. The Rock owns. Okay, they play for. Maybe we can bring The Rock in over here. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, maybe we can bring him on over here. So since he on the Brahmas. Let's figure it out, Cowboy Nation. Got to make a quick evacuation today. We're not going to open up the phone lines, but I'll just say this, though. In departing, Troy Aikman is right. Play calling is terrible. Route running is terrible. And practicing what the Cowboys do is extremely terrible. We're going to hope for spoilers this weekend. Yeah. That's all we can do right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're rooting for the Seattle Seahawks to knock off the Falcons. AFC teams we're not paying attention to. We're rooting for the Packers to beat the Texans right now. We don't want them to have number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. We're trying to get that margin down. We're rooting for the Lions to take on the Vikings, get them off and give them their first L. We're rooting for the Giants to take care of the Eagles. Yeah, we're rooting for them, baby. I'm rooting for the Raiders to take care of the Rams. And I'm rooting for the Panthers to beat the Commanders. That's where we at now. Since we can't take care of business ourselves, we got to root for other things, man. And to a degree, I'm rooting for the Chiefs to be 6-0. So that when the time we play the Niners, they be 3-4. Come on, Chiefs. Come on, Chiefs. What night that on? I'm going to have to go watch that game. Yeah. And let's see down here. I'm rooting for the Ravens to beat the Bucks because they're in the NFC. Jets, Steelers, AFC. I'm not worried about them. And I'm rooting for, I guess, the Chargers to take care of the Cardinals. I guess, so that they can start fire selling, so they can start trading away all of their guys. That's what we got right now, man. All in. We got a root for. Yeah. My guy Jay Form says, I think the Giants will beat the Philly. Actually, come on with it. That's where we at. That's exactly where we at right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the globe, on our way out of here, Mama said there'll be days just like this. We got to continue to grind and shine. Shout out to you, Brandon Unger.
Brandon Unger, $10. We appreciate your show, Law.
Appreciate you. No rookie is going to get drafted and traded in the same year, though. Trey Benson would be nice right now. But that's how we got to fan this year. We got to take care of business, and we got to have someone else to take care of business. You know, the other spotlight of opportunity, if there is, you know, last year around this time, no one saw the Green Bay Packers doing Green Bay Packers thing, and they got hot in December, right? So if you look back at even the one Super Bowl that Mike McCarthy was able to accumulate, they snuck into the postseason. So Law gonna still have hope and very high optimism. My optimism is so great that it makes people feel bad. But Cowboy Nation, let's go. Let's continue to grind and shine. Write this down once again. If there's one thing a man should always do, it's mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring or mean makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices turns hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was brother, our rivalry brother, roll with brothers, the morals of life, live, love, and respect for another. Then, there are those who will try to be smart. They would take the decent man to change his heart and rip him apart. Those, man, you should never call a friend, because they bend their lies around the truth to reach their end. Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. We about.
Give me my theme music.
Come on. And roll those credits. Come on with it.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up.
Shout out to everybody who gave support today. Salute. As we roll credit, salute to Jay Cruder, Dreamer, Jay Versick, Walt Dog, Spiral Mind, Keith Jones, Jacoby Taylor, Amp, Stone Cold G, and Brandon Unger. Come on.